Granted, they have a better front line to stand in the way of the Rubik. Snowball is good to steal. Other than that, though, I'm not really sure what you're looking for here. Maybe you can take the Exorcism. If you take Crypt Swarm, I suppose it's a potent nuke combo with the Fade Ball. Just that low cooldown spell is very powerful. But it's mostly, I think, just Rubik is a comfort hero for a lot of these support players. And you can always find something to do with it if you're having a good game. So, actually, it was Bogged Finance on the Rubik in Game 1, I'm sorry. It was Looney playing it. They've just switched sides. So, while his performance wasn't standout, there's only so many players who can star in a given game. Certainly satisfied enough by his play to not flame this pick in Game 2. So now, do Refugees pull the trigger on their core? Assuming that this is their 3, 4, and 5, I'm not certain of the positioning, but I suspect this is likely the mid and the carry left to pick. They probably should go ahead and take their safe laner now. I don't know how much benefit there is in continuing to play chicken. Depends how confident your carry is or what their hero pool is like. But like I said, a lot of the viable options are already gone. And they grab the Dragon Knight, which at least looks flexible. The Death Prophet could be mid or off lane. Dragon Knight could be mid or safe lane, or even off lane itself. So they're trying to make it hard for Looney Melb. That being said, this lineup's really static right now, really defensively minded. It looks like they're all in on just pushing down towers as a group. So Looney Melb, they could go for something like a Bloodseeker that punishes high hit point heroes and farms quickly, comes online early on. That would fit the sort of timing of the team they've picked up so far. Or, if they feel confident in their ability to defend their high ground, they could just go for a mobile option. All of the spirits are still in the pool. This looks like a pretty sound Ember Spirit kind of game if you are vigilant about avoiding the DP silence. And, if you play one of those farming carries, maybe an Arc Warden as well, you're going to have plenty of room on the map to scale up. The Alchemist is banned out, but all of these other, gold-hungry cores look like they have the kind of game they can capitalize on. Especially with the Puck and the Clockwork, I really appreciate how these kinds of less greedy core picks do set you up to grab whatever you like in the late game, because you've just got that baseline level of team fight and map control provided already for your team. No questions asked, no special requirements. Whereas the Refugees, they kind of have to pick this Dragon Knight to go alongside the Death Prophet because they need more frontline. You can't allow the Death Prophet to be the sole focus, even with the Oracle there to back her up. And Looney Melb, they go for the PA, so kind of splitting the difference. This is a hero with a very powerful late game. I don't know if a fully farmed PA beats out a fully farmed Dragon Knight, but it is way easier to get online as a fully farmed PA. Your Dragon Knight is always... It's not so much about lacking potential, it's about realizing that potential through the game. It's just not a hero with a lot of mobility or flash farming tools, and your team are often depending upon you to lead the way in the mid-game. We'll see whether Refugee do play Dragon Knight as that traditional tower-taking tempo-setting hero, or whether they try and match the farm of the PA, but I would normally expect a Magnus or an Ogre or some other hero like that who can accelerate DK's farm with a buffing spell if they were playing that style, and that's not what they've drafted so far. So now Looney Melb, they're just going to take out a couple of the strong MKB buyers, first targeting the Life Stealer for his magic immunity, and once the counters to PA are gone, there's not really a lot of strong carries left in the pool. Easy for her to dominate. They take out the Wraith King as well, great choice. That would have been just too many tanky boys on the side of the Refugee Esports team, and in particular, Wraith King is really powerful against PA because it's such a counter to her burst damage. So now Looney Melb, they're setting up Volkor again. He dominated game 1, and he's in this position now where if he gets a similar strong start, he can go for an early Desolator timing and really start obliterating heroes like Oracle, threatening anyone on the Refugee lineup's team. But if they only have an okay start or they don't want to play risky, they do have the option to split the map, and they showed in game 1 they easily have the coordination and discipline across all 5 players to make that kind of trickier style work and punish Refugee Esports if their push is less than decisive. And it's really hard to decisively push into Underlord. I thought we were going to see this pick earlier in the draft. Looney Melb, they wait until the end, and now with the DK already picked up, this is looking like an even better Underlord game. He may not always be a melee hero, but Dragon Knight often is turning into a dragon. He's certainly not bursting anything, right? Like, he has to stand and deliver, and stand and deliver heroes are the kind that Underlord loves to prey upon. The Pit of Malice going to be doing massive work here, especially when you combine it with the Clockwork and the Puck. They both have the option to hold a hero in place forever with this pit. But wow, what a last pick for Refugee Esports to bust out. I didn't mention it, but this has been the other real thriving pick of the Singapore Major. I'm assuming this is a carry IO. And this could easily be support DP and support Oracle or Tusk, Dragon Knight mid lane, safe lane IO. Safe lane IO, if you get this strength, items stacked up, an early Halberd can really shut down the Phantom Assassin. And once you have the Heart online, you can easily coast with this hero in team fights and let the easy damage of the Spirit stack up. I'm not always a fan of just going for raw tankiness, like across your whole draft as your main strength, but I'm kind of sold. If the lanes go well for Refugee Esports here, I favour their draft over Looney Melv's more balanced pickups. We'll see whether they can execute. It's going to be the mid lane... Okay, it's going to be the mid lane IO, it looks like, actually, potentially. Just based on the player assignments. And the off lane DK. Granted, it could as easily be a safe lane IO, just based on who's comfortable with it. It is the kind of pick you need to practice. Regardless, we're going to see Go High Ground on the DK. We're going to be seeing Frankie on the DP. And it's going to be Oracle and Tusk supports. So really exciting game coming up as we wait for the coordinator to load in. Of course, we want to shout out as we switch to our game view. We're going to want to shout out our sponsors again. Thanks, of course, to Indomie for providing our noodles and Chatai for providing our drinks. It's a deadly, deadly combo, much like the Wisp and Dragon Knight that we've seen picked up here. Make sure you are refreshed going into your next game with all the spices and flavors of Indonesia, and of course the taste of the tropics through the bubble tea provided by Cha Time. As we head into game 2 here of our best of 2, it's really hard to split these teams because Looney Meld, they proved that they're potentially the stronger team in game 1, but this is the kind of draft that can effectively blunt a team's skill. Coming out of QUT, Elite here on the mid IO is going to have the opportunity to exploit Yarak, who, no flame, looked like one of the weaker spots on the draft in game 1 for his team. So, if this Wisp has a good start, that's the kind of thing that can really cost you because, no matter how good the game is from Vorklaw, if the Wisp is ahead of you in terms of items, if Elite gets that key level 20 talent, the plus 60 spirits hero damage, that is going to punish PA so hard. She's going to need to have Desolator BKB, ideally before that time, and probably a third item, because these heroes combined, they're all so tanky, and there's a lot of work for her to do, a lot of big trees for her to cut down. The Kage S playing the Clockwork again, the aggressive 4 position support, trying to get things done before the creeps even spawn, as we see the teams tangle in the bottom lane. Frankie's moving in, no level 1 slash, herself on the Death Prophet. Spirit Siphon going to be draining a lot of hit points away from the clock. Oracle, another slow starting support hero, much like the Phoenix in game 1, but this time Duckflinger on the Underlord is going to have even less trouble holding down the lane. It's going to be much more about how good Vorklaw's start is versus how good Elite's start is on the Wisp. Can we see a captain's performance from this core IO? It's going to be building towards the Helm of the Dominator, presumably, which is very, very key for farming. Obviously, IO is a hero normally defined as a support by which hero you choose to partner up with and follow around the map. But on the core IO, you're much more prone to picking up the Helm of the Dominator, taking control of a neutral creep with a powerful stun, and then using that as your tethered ally so that you can run all the buffs that Tether provides, as well as have additional control. It's a very, very difficult hero to play, and a completely unique playstyle, so we'll see how much Elite has this practiced. If it's within your hero pool right now, you could hardly ask for a better pick. We're going to see Volkor right now is out alone against Go High Ground. And I mean, look, for a player that struggled in the first game out of the laning phase, Go High Ground's on a very safe pick here in this DK. It's normally the kind of hero that with levels up in Dragon Blood is almost impossible to kill, but Kage S brings enough control that an isolated Dragon Knight could go down, and he doesn't even have that defensive passive skill yet, opting for the level 1 Breathe Fire to secure range creep. So forced to bring in the Tusk there, and Tau does arrive in time to help secure that. And we're going to be seeing, actually, I said it's the least common of the DPs, but the safe lane Death Prophet on Frankie going to be hitting the creeps in the safe lane, and that's a really nice lane matchup to take against this Underlord. Spirit Siphon, you can chase the Underlord all the way down the lane, so despite those bans that were committed to protect Duckflinger's pick, still ends up with a kind of a tough matchup here, and going to be relying on his support, the Rubik of Bogged Finance, to prevent those situations from going too far south. Going to need a very quick telekinesis, throw the DP back, break the tether range of the Soul Siphon, and prevent the trades from driving the Underlord out of the lane too soon. And the early last hits, they're vindicating these lane matchups for the Radiant. Even Go High Ground is staying ahead of Vorkor so far. Kage going to have something to say about it. Tao, he took Ice Shard's level 1 on the Tusk. This was almost unheard of. I assume it was for the level 1 fight, but they've both taken interesting level 1 skills that have left them a little vulnerable in the lane. Fortunately, the hero's just so tanky, and there's enough regen there that they're not really being driven back. Yarak in the mid lane, really bruising, taking some tough trades with Elite's IO. They're both gunning for that early bottle. Yarak pops a salve, potentially in a position to deny a little bit of farm and delay this bottle. Level 4, a minute 4 rune is going to be important to say the least. Tao now has that tag team up, but actually out of mana already, and with no mangoes, that's going to make this Tusk pretty neutralized. They've realized he doesn't have the tag team, and now they're running him down. The battery assault and the cogs from Kage S, they might not have the damage to finish off this Tusk. There's a little bit of a delay. Actually, no, that runs into the cogs as they despawn. That's going to cost him his life. It buys time for Vorkor to get the Blink Strike cooldown back up, and that's first blood. I'm sorry, Tao, a little bit of commentator's curse coming in. I praise the Oracle play in Game 1, but now the shoe's on the other foot. The Oracle is being played by this Phoenix player. Sorry, I'm unfamiliar with the characters. And instead, Tao, on that unfamiliar Tusk perhaps, not bringing enough mana regen to lane, and with that awkward level 1 skill, these small things add up to, what is now a growing laning phase deficit. Early 1k lead for the Dire. Bogged Finance adding to it with another early kill on this Rubik, really making the pick shine. Go High Ground's got a double wave stacked up here on this DK, and this is something you can afford to do thanks to the Dragon Blood passive, making sure the creep equilibrium will be in his favor, but might be punished here. The Tusk is not in the lane, went deep to try and water a creep camp or something, and left his DK alone. It's a very nice Ice Shards, but Vorkor has mana for the Blink Strike, so Go High Ground just goes down, and again, I'm not so sure about this play. A little bit of lacking coordination from the QUT offlane. They did not have their Tusk there to defend the DK while he was doing something extremely dangerous, like stacking up multiple creep waves. And now Tao just sort of wanders into the lane alone by himself. What do you expect to have happen? Kage S goes on you again with the battery, again with the power cogs. Now granted, this is deep enough and close enough to the tower. The positioning's a little bit awkward to go for the kill, but Kage S, he's not concerned at all. Forces out the Tusk self, takes an easy trade, and now this Dire Wave is going to crash into the tower. Can High Ground get these creeps that, already so much has been sacrificed for? Granted, Vorkor, they are managing to contest the PA's farm. Not a lot getting done there. But if they start to fall behind in this lane on levels, Kage S is going to find some stacks in the jungle, no doubt. And I have faith after Game 1 that Vorkor is capable of escalating his farm to the top of the ladder. That being said, he has a competitor. It's Elite. Elite coming in and maybe trying to get an early kill. Kage S, he's going to be heavily contested as the clock, and Tao adds just enough damage with the tag team. Elite crashing in with those level 3 spirits. That's a lot of damage, and that's an important kill. They shut down this clockwork. They get some experience on their Tusk, and of course, anything that accelerates Elite's farm, he is the key hero for this game for them. That's going to be great for QUT. Meanwhile, Frankie falling low on the bottom lane, but Duckflinger's alone. And this Underlord, it's very much a hero without a lot of potential for flashy plays. He measures the damage that he's going to take from Duckflinger. He takes that damage on, and then he ends up winning the trade thanks to the drain from Soul Siphon. Bogged Finance forced to return to the lane to defend his Underlord. And so this is much more even than we saw in Game 1. We're not bleeding out of the offlane like we were with that Sand King pick. And despite a few early missteps, that Io, who's your most important hero by far, is having a great game. Top of the overall last hit chart. Really good stuff from Elite. The other important thing about Io, of course, is stacks. Heroes good at making them and taking them. Of course, when you're in the mid lane, you don't have as much freedom to run through the jungle and stack multiple camps every minute with the spirits. You're going to be relying on Tao and the other support to get that done Right now, we're going for more aggressive roaming instead, but I'd like to see them focus on the economy a little bit, because ultimately what's going to matter is the timing on that level 20 talent, and the timing on the first couple of items. Helm of Dominator, moving ever closer to completion, but the earlier you can get that online, the better. That is your farming item, and that's going to scale you into either an additional farming and damage item like a Maelstrom that scales with Wisp's crazy attack speed from Overcharge, or simply tanking up immediately. Vorkor doesn't look to be going so fast towards this Battle Fury that I feel like you need to prioritize the Heaven's Halberd, but certainly Elite can afford to. The Spirits do a lot of damage by themselves. So what can Yarak do? Like, we're already talking a lot about how Elite's IO is going to contribute to this game, and progressing towards the point where that hero is really going to start to kick in and, feel its true force. This Puck now has level 6, potential to teleport to top lane. You really are looking for these sorts of rotations. And I'd love to see the scroll, but it's the Rubik who teleports first. Yarak's sitting in the mid still, so this is not quite as intimidating, especially for a hero that's as tanky as Dragon Knight. They have a lot of control between Kage S and Bogged Finance, but they've already used the disables on the Clockwork. Tau goes for a bit of an optimistic teleport and just gets picked up by the telekinesis, so they may get a kill out of this after all. It's a level 3 Tusk running for his life, but with the battery assault coming off cooldown, his best hope is to deny himself to the potato and the tomato. Not going to happen. Bogged Finance on point with the Fade Bolt. So maybe there was an opportunity for the Tusk to just slip away there instead of going for the teleport right in front of the support with a stun. But I'm surprised Yarak did not TP. They are keeping this Puck in the mid. He wants to farm. Maybe he's a little bit concerned after game 1 about his overall impact, because his Void Spirit did, I don't know about rotating too early because that lane wasn't going well, didn't end up doing too much in the fights with the itemization he had. Dark Flinger, his lane's been going well so far, but with Bogged Finance out of the lane for a prolonged period of time, that's a green light for Frankie and his supporting Oracle to go for that kill. They chase him down the lane, they finish the job. Level 3 Spirit Siphon is enough, so that's Underlord dying. I don't think it's Panic Stations just yet. Maybe needs to go ahead and pick up some boots to go with the Hood of Defiance. But, when you've already got your mid IO doing well and top going kind of even, to have your Death Prophet also near the top of the last hits chart, also picking up kills on an opposite number, these lanes, this draft from Elite, this really shows the difference. Actually, I think I did say at the draft that we didn't get the full team to show up for QUT. I think I just got deceived. I don't think Elite was in game 1. I think that's really the difference. When the player who's subbed is your captain and mid laner, you really have the potential to show up as a different team. And this is much more like the Refugee Esports squad that we knew from last year, that I watched go deep in the finals. Really pulling out an innovative draft right now that's putting a ton of pressure onto Looney Mel, but despite being slightly behind on overall gold right now. We've got Go High Ground. He's progressing towards a Meteor Hammer, which is a really nice pickup for this offlane Dragon Knight. Like, the hero, even in a more farm-oriented role, sometimes struggles to accelerate out of the early game. You need a lot of items all at once. You generally need stats. You often need a Shadow Blade or a Blink Dagger to try and make use of your stun. And so instead of focusing on just being a stun bot, kind of like the old offlane Strength Morphling, you can at least prioritize a part of your hero that's easy to bring online and will reliably contribute. You're gonna have the damage from this Elite IO and from this Death Prophet Exorcism. So why gamble with your third core when you can go for something reliable and effective? And Go High Ground is going to be gunning for these towers, but first they're going to put the pressure on a Vorkor, maybe get a little bit of revenge for the first game. I mentioned he doesn't have a lot of damage, but with this Tusk tag team, they are chipping away at the PA's health. It's mostly just to push her off the tower so that now they can get in some good early damage. The Corrosive Breath from the DK does work on towers, so that's going to be punishing her for the retreat, as well as punishing the Dire if they don't rotate any further heroes up here. They've kind of left Vorkor on an island, and unlike in game 1, he hasn't dominated the opposing offlaner enough to really make that work in their favor. And we see the Dire supports, they're just sitting in bottom lane right now, but Kage S, he does not have the hook shot, so there is no way for him to initiate right now. They are going to spot this IO rotating around, but Elite, one of the factors of having this IO with this Helm of the Dominator up is he is so speedy. The additional movement speed from tethering to this Centaur creep makes both IO and the Centaur itself insanely fast. Watch him run down this Yarak Puck. There's no way out. The Illusory Orb is too slow, and Elite runs in, spots out this Dire stack, or it's stacked himself, I couldn't quite see, but he's playing as aggressively as he should. This is the start he was looking for, and man, this IO pick, this is kind of a cheese hero. Like, it's almost a meepo. If you aren't prepared to fight this, and you're against someone who's good at the hero, it really undoes a team in a way that most heroes don't. Like, you really need to respond correctly with force and, you know, in the right manner. And that sort of, like, haphazard collapse that they just tried without having the hookshot available to pin the IO down, not going to work out. They end up just feeding him an extra kill. And this Yarak puck still hasn't contributed to the game, really. That was like the first time he tried to rotate at all, and it ended up in his own death at the hands of Elite, who, by the way, is not stopping Wisp. Hero with almost no cooldowns. The only spell with a notable delay is his relocate, which is used, you know, just to go harder. It certainly doesn't affect your combat potential. So Wisp, having just, you know, moved into the dire triangle and made it unfarmable, punished the puck. Now they're going to be putting pressure on mid lane, even as we see Frankie move in on bottom tower with the Death Prophet. Meanwhile, Go High Ground has taken out the dire tier 1 top with that Meteor Hammer. Vorkor powerless to stop him, and they've identified the weakness of this Vorkor PA. Unlike the troll in game 1, where Vorkor made that really canny rotation, armed with only a B Fury. Even if he had the B Fury this early on the Phantom Assassin, there's no way this hero is making that same rotation into a full team fight. And so they know they have a window. Nevertheless, they do need to watch their positioning on their supports. The Oracle is punished. Yarak finally makes a successful play. That being said, this time, it's actually QUT who are punishing them across the map. Go High Ground has moved over to the mid lane, where he could potentially benefit from Elite's tether. Doesn't need it. They just take the tower out with the chipping away with the corrosive breath. And so just like that, 2 tier 1s are down for the Dire. The gold lead is back in favor of the refugees, and they have their say of what goes on the map right now. Elite is completely setting the tempo of this game, chasing Vorkor into his tower with a double damage rune. Vorkor not expecting the double damage. He didn't realize the burst damage would be so strong and gets a little bit unlucky on his fade procs. Only dodged one Wisp auto attack. Elite gets him while he tries to teleport out. Now the team has collapsed, but Elite, he runs the creep up to the high ground. He tries to tether to it. It's some fancy footwork. It's not quite enough. That was essential that they kill and punish the Wisp there. He was getting so much off the map. Top of the farm chart by a mile. I'm sure he's also top of the net worth chart. Yeah, 1,200, 1,300 gold ahead of the puck. The top 3 net worths are all Radiant Cores, which makes sense when you consider that I think they're looking to pick up their 3rd tier 1 to none. But the IO is out of control. You needed to shut him down. Paying the life of Vorkor is a very hefty price, but in the end, I think the trade does still favor Looneymelb. And if that doesn't show you how important and how powerful this IO pickup has been, nothing will. So we settle a lot of aggression post laning phase. Now that the tier 1 towers, the easy pickoffs of objectives are mostly gone for the Radiant, they're falling back to farm, and of course the Dire are trying to farm their way back up to a more powerful timing of their own. So let's quickly check in on the items. Elite is going to go for the Aghanim Scepter, which of course is the next part of the essential IO build. He's gunning to have that, and then at level 20 he goes from having, you know, these spirits right now are a potent nuke but a long cooldown. Then he suddenly has constant spirit nukes. Then he has massive constant spirit nukes. And all of that combined with some significant damage output and incredible tankiness, it creates the massive threat that is core IO. Go High Ground, he's going to go for a Blink Dagger. If they can pick up this tower in the tier 1 at bottom, he'll have it. And that's going to make this Dragon Knight a really threatening kill generator. Like, forget about this Tusk need to roll in on the kills. Go High Ground blinking in as like a super tanky offlaner, stunning a target with Dragon Tail. That then guarantees the Meteor Hammer stun, or at least forces counter initiation to block it. And that's going to make Vorkor's farming life very difficult, especially since Vorkor is still only trying to finish up the Battle Fury. It's a bit of a slow timing, and even this bottom lane is not safe. He's been spotted out by Frankie's Death Prophet. They're bringing in the Tusk. They're bringing in the IO. The tether to Frankie is going to cut Vorkor's route of escape. But Vorkor immediately realizes he needs to go for the high ground. The IO doesn't have a stun, and he's going to get out in time. Really, really smart play from Vorkor. That's the player we saw dominate game 1. Now we have to see how well he can play from behind, but that was smart stuff. You realize that only Elite was likely coming from that direction, took the bet that no other heroes had teleported to the shrine, or the outpost, they were teleporting to the tower, and Wisp can do a lot of things right now, but having just tethered over to the DP, it's unlikely that there was a stun waiting on the higher ground, and the teleport pays off. So really important that you do not die there as you attempt to finish your Battle Fury as Vorkor. But it's still, you know, slowing down your farming again. You came to the bottom lane, you got to hit a creep camp and a half, and then you're forced to desperately teleport away. You know, you almost didn't profit from it at all. In the meantime, the Radiant are farming all 3 lanes because their cores are all so tanky. they're really punishing the low damage of these dire heroes, right? Like Rubik. Clockwork is a good ganker, but doesn't have tremendous damage output, and especially if his initial burst of damage can't bring the target down, the battery assault's basically all he's got. This Rubik certainly doesn't do a lot of damage in the early game. Only has the one nuke, very low auto attack potential. Duck Flinger, another mostly defensive controlling hero, has itemized that way as well. The Puck can front load some damage and has gone for a Veil, so they understand that they need to do everything they can to up their damage in the short term. Good item choice by Yarok. But, even this PA, much less of a fighter early on than even the Troll Warlord. And, you can see that Vorkul's been forced to play a lot more safely and passively in terms of how he goes for farm. That's delayed the Battle Fury, and that will further put his team on the back foot as QUT refugees try to run them over. Now we're going to see the first ganking play from Go High Ground, but his support is not going to get there as quickly as the Dire. They're right under the tier 2. Immediate Dream Core from Yarok might have been a little premature, and maybe now they sniff an opportunity. We see Elite come in. He's got Relocate running, so he's going to dive like a madman on this IO. They are going to take out Kage S. That's all they could get right now. He actually relocated in with the double damage room bottled, so brutal stuff. Guaranteed to get at least one kill, and almost unlucky not to get more. Yarok really needs to save that Drain Coil, because IO has almost unfettered mobility in the fights. One of the very few ways they can, kind of stop Elite just running down his target of choice with superior move speed and turn facing is that Dream Coil. And when you commit it on just a Dragon Knight who's already used all his spells, you really give a green light to a team like QUT. They are not going to miss that opportunity. Now, Go High Ground turns the Meteor Hammer on the Tier 2 tower. He's just been sitting in this top lane, pushing it in, knows he's not under threat from really anyone on the Dire, especially alone, and he is rewarded with eventually taking that tower. So a big turnaround from the Sand King play in Game 1. This is much the same style that Go High Ground wanted to play in the first game, just the hero matchups and such, and how the laning phase went kind of denied the opportunity. Now we're seeing some good, dogged offlaner play, really being a strategic thorn in the side of Looney Melb. Frankie didn't even need to commit the Exorcism, so they're potentially going to hold that for level 2. They could easily also fall back on Roshan, especially since Elite is gunning down this last tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. He's drawing the entire Dire team over, and this is the kind of map mobility that Wisp provides, another one of its advantages. They could easily relocate or simply TP scroll up to top lane right now and take advantage of a completely empty top side of the map to do Roshan. And getting this Aegis up on the IO would further guarantee the quick progression towards level 20. The Aghanim Scepter is already online. The Essence Ring is a great pickup, but I guess Elite holding onto the Nether Shield to increase those spirits damage shows how good that his game's going, that he does not feel even threatened by death. They ping the IO, they know that it's essential to kill him. He's 4 levels away. You can see that the book, the experience tome, not for the supports of this game, Elite has that queued up. It is all in on getting this IO power spike as quickly as possible because it's so game breaking. And, they finally get the initiation from Kage S. I was waiting for it to happen, but they wait so long. The lead has already killed off Yarok, and he is completely isolated now. His team can't quite get in there. Very good control. We see how powerful the Clockwork is specifically for defeating the IO, because Elite's main answer to that sort of thing, he can't get the relocate off. He tries to tether out to his team, and as he tethers out of the cogs that are blocking his movement, even when he reaches the outside with the tether movement, it gets cut off by the pushback effect. So it's very difficult for Wisp alone to escape from those ganks. But that's, I think, still only the second time. Yeah, the second time he's died. He's 4-2-2. Considering that the rest of his team is also dominating this game, I don't think that's enough. I really feel like they need to be more proactive in smoking up and fighting this IO. But the team that they drafted was so... It's almost like they assumed they would automatically win the lanes the same way they did in Game 1, and they would be in this same position of, we just need this one carry farming, and as long as the rest of our team is too strong to fight into, they won't know what to do. But Elite has provided such leadership and leading from the front this game, it's been difficult for them to find kills. This time the Dire do find one. They isolate Go High Ground in their own jungle, but now they're immediately bailing out. They call the Underlord Uber. The Uber Lord, he's going to get them out. It's a very long teleport. That's a level 1 Dark Rift, but there's just not quite enough damage. There's one weakness of IO Core. You do put out a lot of damage, especially when you collapse those spirits to minimum distance and jump onto a target in the late game. But until you build up your auto attack items, you do not put out as much focused front loader, constant immediate DPS as, say, a Troll Warlord would, right? We saw how quickly Vorpal was able to isolate and kill single targets in that first game. You have to wait for the spirits to do their work, and that's enough time for the Underlord to bail out everybody from the Dire there and secure a good trade. Now they're going to secure another good trade by starting out with a kill on the Oracle. It's very important. We haven't mentioned it really in the context of team fights, but if you get False Promise off on this IO core, it's absolutely unbeatable. So they need to be focusing and isolating this Oracle as much as possible in the fights if they can't be ganking Elite. And while you could say that, the Oracle can just position defensively, they do manage to catch him there. So whoever you want to credit or blame for that death, another important kill, keeping just a little bit of breathing room open for Looney Meld. They are still ahead on the net worth charts overall as we start to see Vorkwar catch up. But it is still a slow and steady process. Going to go back for the Desolator before the BKB, and I do like this. There's a ton of stuns on the Radiant team, but if you delay your damage any longer on this hero, the main damage dealer of your squad, you are going to lose your base before you're ready to fight. And they've actually managed to catch this IO again! Oh, Elite, that's his first big mistake of the game. They let him know, they give him the tip. I mean, dangerous to tip a player who has been mostly taking you behind the woodshed this game, but this time the Wisp caught without his escape button, silenced by the puck, pitted by the Underlord. His team on the other side of the map cannot save him. And yeah, looks like a little bit of a greedy move. I mentioned how important it was to delay the level 20. The IO does get the 20-minute tome of knowledge to the team, are, contributing their all to make sure that Elite gets powered up as soon as possible. But he's kind of, counteracting that generosity by dying there, spending a lot of time off the map, not getting XP, as well as giving a chunk of gold over to the Dire. He is the most fun core they have, but, Frankie's actually caught up a lot on this Death Prophet, building towards the Shiva's Guard, already has the Yule Scepter, so that's one hero at least who won't be getting gunned down by Yerak's puck. And the team fight's really spreading out here, which I think actually favours the Radiant, maybe more than Looney Melb think. The Death Prophet pops Exorcism, she's been completely trapped in by Dire Creeps, which is really awkward, forced to use that ult in a difficult position. That by itself might decide this fight. Elite comes in with the Relocate to get Frankie out of the trees, and in fact gets most of the Dire out of the fight, even though he's forced to disappear back to the fountain. As the Relocate expires, Duckling is going to try and get out of here. Yuking around the trees denies the vision for the Exorcism Ghost. So in the end, that's such a funny team fight. Despite there being a huge exchange of spells and 5 heroes from each side showing up, it is still only 3 supports who go down. A slight victory for the side of QUT Refugees, but the biggest victory that they win is that they only lose a tier 1 tower. On that lane, they still have plenty of map real estate. This is their second tower they've lost, and this IO is about to hit level 19. So in only a couple of minutes, we are going to see IO hit peak power. He'll likely have a BKB shortly after that. And at that window, that's when we're going to see, I think, I would assume, the QUT squad just slam their foot on, put a brick on the accelerator and go. Because you will never, the IO can continue to get stronger, but you'll never be relatively stronger than that. And in fact, it's important not to feed Vorkwar too much before that point. Vorkwar picks up a good kill on Go High Ground. This is what the PA announces herself as finally joining the game for real. Has that Desolator finished. That's her damage item. She kills off Tau on the Tusk. That's 2 now. Vorkwar looking for more. The team is still strong. This is how the Looney Melb squad wanted to play from the outset, and it's taken them a bit longer to reach their strength, but now when they spot their opportunity, they go for it. Frankie can't escape. Brought down by magic damage. Good Fadebolt catches the on the other fight, and now they bring down Elite, the crown jewel. I really thought you were going to see Wisp get level 20 before they took another fight, but Go High Ground. It's been a much better game from him in the offlane, but again, he's a little bit too far up the field. Even for a tanky boy like DK, you can't afford to be there. And as his team sort of hesitate, not sure whether to try and defend him or not, his death gives the Dire permission to just charge down the lane like madmen. And with, they have powerful catch spells. They have blink daggers. They have this highly mobile carry. With their hook shot and their dream coil and their pit of malice, they secure another 3 kills and a massive gold swing. They're 4,000 gold ahead. And now they have the Aegis. I really wanted the Radiant to go up and get that earlier. They had such control over the map and such a mobility advantage from the Relocate that they really could have done it at any time. And now they're looking a little lost. Tau just kind of runs up into the triangle right as the enemy team take Roshan. I'm not sure what you're expecting to find there, but what you find is Vorkwar, who is happy to continue his killing spree and has all of a sudden leapt up from being well behind the Radiant cores to, even with the Radiant cores, to ahead of the Radiant cores. All of the hard work that Elite had done throughout the game, all of the diligent farming from Frankie's Death Prophet to keep this hero, to get to the Shiva's Guard, this really important combination of defensive items that the team needs, is now in danger of being undermined because its Phantom Assassin is also hitting a peak of power unbelievably ahead of the IO. Still, 3/4 of a level away from 20. The experience requirement goes up every level. And, when you don't have that available, that Spirit's talent is such a jump, right? 60 Spirit's hero damage. That is like that's a 66% increase on the base damage of the spell. That's insane. That's like an extra 2 or 3 levels in your main damage source, right? Like it can't be summarized how different a level 19 IO core is from a level 20 IO core. Can't be understated. Can't be overstated, rather. And what can't be overstated also is the threat right now that they're going to lose a top lane of Rax before that level 20 IO is ready. He's only halfway. His team has to come back and fight, and this must be so annoying. Elite really was cruising, really was on the trend, but Vorkor's timing has come good with that devastating rundown team fight. I can't even really call it a team fight, but that spree of kills following the Radiant back from the mid lane tier 2. The Dire have picked up everything they need to strike a critical first blow. They take the top melee barracks off the map, and just like in game 1, with only that melee barracks taken, they retreat. They do not give their opponents any chances. And that's a kind of discipline you don't always see, even from very highly skilled teams. So granted, the highly skilled teams are probably good enough to not get punished. They're maybe just able to cut it more fine. But I admire the determination. Like, in a game where you know the kind of knife's edge you're resting on, right? Where you know that your opponent is right on the precipice of fighting you. And you don't know, by the way, how close Elite is to just relocating in at level 20 and decimating your team. Better to just take that important melee racks and then back off. You can come back for the range one later. KGS, they're going to take this fight though. He finds the Oracle, takes a couple of pump fakes on the hook shot, strikes true. And speaking of striking true, Vorkor one-shots the Oracle. The Desolator crits coming through. Has the Titan Sliver now. That's a massive, massive pickup. The BKB isn't ready yet, and I was going to say that there's a danger, as Elite has finally hit level 20, that you could relocate in on top of this PA and in the space of 1 disable blow her up. But this item not only shortens the duration of the disables from the Radiant, it provides critical magic resistance to the Phantom Assassin. When you combine that with her inherent evasion from Blur, the fact that she has the Aegis on board, and the defense from the, Is that a stolen Forest Promise? It looked like it was a stolen Forest Promise, so good job, Bogged Finance. But yeah, the defensive abilities of the PA stack up really well now against the IO, as especially she also picks up the BKB. So now you have that trump card against the IO, and the IO is going to need to go back and grab more powerful attacking items to threaten the PA. It's going to be more about isolating the rest of the team and perhaps relying on something like the exorcism damage to eventually bring PA down while she's controlled by the DK and the Tusk. And that's a viable game plan, but they're not executing that right now. Instead, Go High Ground is juking around in the dire trees and eventually being run down by Yarak and KGS. Celebratory tap on the butt from the Bullwhip there. Yarak hasn't had the loudest game on the puck, but hasn't been as quiet in game 1 either. This has been a much more steady, solid hand from the mid lane, contributing to his team just when they need it with that extra control and mobility as well, scouting out these split push heroes. So the balance of power swings decidedly back in favor of the Dire, just when it really looked like QUT were going to really execute a powerful game plan here. They've faltered at the final hurdle. That's not to say it's over. They're picking up some powerful neutral items. I think they just obtained a Cloak of Flames. No, that was the Dire. Okay, so no such item for Elite, but the Elven Skin Cloak wouldn't even be a bad idea for this core IO if he wants it. For now, he's going to hold on to the Nether Shore, that bonus magic damage a priority, and this is going to be the first big fight with that level 20 Wisp. Yarok coming in there. Maybe KGS could have warned off his puck. They're trying to get him out right now because Yarok realizes that this is not the fight you want to take. Elite, no, Yarok doesn't really realize that, hangs around, eats another couple of Spirituous Trouble, and you see how quick that damage bursts down, but it is all a bait. They bring in Vorkor. Vorkor posts the BKB very early. They waste a few seconds of it. Good snowball from Tower's going to buy the IO time, and PA goes after the Tusk instead, so now her BKB is gone. It's going to make it a lot harder to isolate and kill Elite's IO. They're actually trying to bail out of this fight with the Underlord right now. They've lost the puck. They actually lose the... No, wait, the Underlord does get out. That was a close run thing, but they've left behind Vorkor on the PA. They don't get their Phantom Assassin out. I'm not sure if that was intentional or mistake. Oh, that's a crit! That is such a crit! I really was about to pronounce the PA dead there, but, you know, this is a battle of steady DPS from the IOists against insane procs of burst from the PA, and the crit gods come through. I think that was about 1400 damage, just evaporating the arrow from the map. And with that critical neutral item pickup, the Paladin Sword, the PA has lifesteal. Skip the lifesteal talent, as is common for the Phantom Strike cast range. And so I thought without the BKB, Vorkor might have trouble racing the damage output of the IO wisps. But with this critical neutral item pickup, this really is just a tour de force of RNG for Vorkor. With the right neutral item roll and the right crit roll, PA can do anything. And now a second lane of Rax is under massive threat. That really, it didn't feel like it originally. It sort of felt like it might just be a bit of a scrap in the jungle. But that may have actually been the fight for QUT. That was Elite's first real chance, and by its nature, best real chance to flex the powerful core IO timing. And due to a bit of bad luck and some good positioning from the Dire team, it doesn't pay off. And given that they lost that, if they only lost one lane of Rax, I'd still kind of be rooting for them. But they already gave up that top lane kind of unnecessarily early on, and so now they're 2 lanes of Rax in the hole, and that is pretty brutal. Io is great at pushing out creep waves, but he still needs to farm several more items to keep up with Vorkor right now. He's gone back for the Kaya, which is interesting, maximizing the magic damage output, really trying to nuke these heroes down in the short term. I don't mind the idea. Maybe that's enough to turn this fight. We see it's the Death Prophet who looks to be actually picking up a halberd, but that's not ready yet, and instead they just have to try their luck against Vorkor's PA. It's not working out. There's no Divine Rapier, but you wouldn't be blamed for calling that there might have been one with how fast those two supports die. Tau and Oracle both in the grave. Yarak distracting them on the backlines with the puck, buying Vorkor time to slip away, because now he's kind of isolated. Oh, okay, the initial miss doesn't end up mattering. Godlike Spree fed back to Elite's Io. This could be bad. He has picked up the Elven Tunic that's very important, provides vital physical damage stats that he can use to trade with the PA like an ordinary carry, and as well as the movement speed that you need to run down heroes with these spirits. Relocates in to go for the Rubik, forces out the cogs to protect the other support. Now they turn onto the Underlord. The relocate is going to take Frankie back to base. No, they detether. Good timing. Elite actually it teleports him back. That was so perfect. I don't think Duckflinger realized exactly where the IO relocate was, and he ended up running away from the IO back into the IO. So Elite finally gets the great team fight they were looking for, demonstrates the power of this IO, and there is still room to grow. But there's still 2 lanes of Rax down. And their third lane of Rax is completely exposed. In fact, these creeps are going to finish off this range barracks, most likely. There's no one here to defend it. Frankie is just kind of missing these creeps in the mid tower, clearing out the bottom lane instead. So a bit of maybe there was a little bit of fatalism there, that, you know, the range barracks doesn't regenerate, it's too hard to defend. But they do just kind of lose one of their 2 surviving Rax for free. So a single melee Rax standing between the Dire and Mega Creeps. And this is starting to look a lot like Game 1. QT, they're ready to stabilize. This time, it's weird to think that because they were seemingly ahead for most of the game, but both games, their mid laner has been their shining light, and then a few key deaths right on the cusp of their most important timing have just opened up the window a crack for Looneymob to leap through with confidence and grace and put themselves way ahead in terms of like building collateral. And that's the only real scoreboard in Dota, right? It's lanes of Rax. It's 2-0 right now, 2.5-0 if you'd like. And if you got 3-0, I think your win rate still, even today, is like 90%, maybe higher. This isn't the most hopeless scenario should the Radiant give up Mega Creeps, but you'd much prefer not to. And they must be kind of ruining the mistakes that led them to kind of miss this timing that they looked so poised for, and especially to give up that top rack so early and seemingly so cheaply. Now, they're so concentrated on pushing out their base, it seems likely that they will miss the spawn timing on the Roshan. They will not have a big window to contest. The Dire are basically camping on it. This Desolator PA will not take long to bring it down at all. And once they have the Aegis up on Vorkor, this is where, like, I talked about the lack of damage from the Dire. We're going to see a lack of damage from the Radiant. In fact, it seems... Is she going back for a heart? It almost looks like we're going for a heart here on the PA, which would be really interesting. Oh, actually, no, sorry, what am I talking about? This is a Vanguard to complete the Abyssal Blade. I'm losing my mind over here. Heart's been such a powerful item this patch, and I think that it wouldn't even be unjustified against the IO, but Vorkor just sticking with the tried and true. The ability to lock down the IO guaranteed or the DP and burst them is going to be very, very valuable, of course. And now, the Roshan, it's actually Looney Melb's turn to be punished by a slow Roshan spawn. The Radiant thought they were already in the pit, so they run in to fight and realize that it's not actually up there, just going to scrap. Now the Roshan spawns. It might be even pulled out of pit by the IO spirits, but it's not going to contribute to the fight. This is all happening right outside the pit, and huge apocalyptic spell effects going off. KGS goes down, Tau goes down, High Ground goes down, and now Elite, who's staying troll initially, but Vorkor was not in that mess of spells, easily stepping around it with the power of the PA, and in the end, all of the deaths are on the side of the Radiant. The Battle Fury on this PA multiplies the damage of these crits so many times when you fight in that enclosed space. That's why the supports vanish so quickly off the map. And Rubik has even stolen the Exorcism. I've never seen this. The flock of Rubik's Cubes going off right now is a little bit of an indictment on Frankie's play. You really should not be having that spell stolen, but sometimes you don't get the chance. Maybe you're bashed as the Exorcism goes off. I think it was maybe just a single-minded dash towards the pit, and the Rubik waiting in the wings was able to pick up that Exorcism and really turn the fight around. So huge plays again by Bogged Finance, justifying that Rubik pick, finding the spells to steal, even if they're not the common ones. And, you know, I've been casting this as a game in the balance for a long time, but suddenly, as we watch the Dire roll in over the Braxes, it almost feels like even without the two other lanes of Rax already in their pockets, they would be poised to take this game. You look at the itemization, really all coming true right now. This is a team-wide timing. They've coordinated it very well. Shiva's Pipe Greaves up on the Underlord Duckflinger is indestructible and makes his team pretty much indestructible as well. PA we've talked about a lot. Yarok has finished an Eye of Skadi, which is an interesting choice, but with the phase shift attack, it's just even more BKB control. None of that's necessary though, because armed with the Battle Fury PA timing and a little bit of an unfortunate series of deaths for the core IO, all of that effort, all of that the creative drafting from QUT Esports, the refugee esports lineup, it comes to naught. It's a 2-0 win to Looney Melb. They take it out. Really, really impressive stuff overall. I have to give credit to the whole team, but especially to Vorkor. That is some of the most assured carry play I have ever seen in the Australian Esports University League in this or any season. I'm excited to see Looney Melb continue to perform throughout the season. There is room to improve. Yarak on the puck did not cost his team the victory by any means, but that, you know, if you're going to step up in any department, it would help to not allow the enemy mid laner, you know, the chance to outscale your core when you're relying on Vorkor so much. Duckflinger, hard to fault the gameplay, really. I was questioning of the picks, but both of those were made to work. Bogged Finance, terrific stuff on the Rubik. Seems like a real comfort here of him. And KGS, great aggressive play both games. So an almost complete unit out of Looney Melb. I'm sure they'll be contending late into the season. We'll have plenty more chances to watch them and Refugee Esports. You know, they did have to play game 1 with a stand-in, and game 2 was much closer, so don't count them out by any means. It's going to be a long season here at the Australian Esports University League. Shoutouts to Chartime and all our other sponsors for making that season possible, and I will no doubt be back next week or in the weeks to come to bring you more of this exciting Dota 2 action. But for now, I've been the Wandering Bard. I'll see you later.
Hex or something like that.
What's up, guys? Finally
I
finished.
don't know what I dropped for the Hex.
Don't talk to me until I have a big dragon dildo, dude.
I'm rich, dude. I don't know.
Can I, please? Thank you.
I guess I'd replace my bots with an arcane blink as well. Maybe I'll build that next.
Man, yeah, I should get an arcane one.
I mean, my hero's got such shit cast times. It
Yeah,
makes a big
and
difference.
just to top it off, and making fights a little bit. So the balance of power.
Keep all the
is
lanes
just
pushed in.
Domination in isolate one hero.
Yeah.
When we're going to see, I think support. Angle and made it unfarmable. Out from the dire, we're going to see a little bit of fatalism there. That the range. To defend it, Frank go for the Rubik, forces out the cogs to protect the other support. Now they turn onto the under necessarily early on, and so now by its nature best real chance 1400 damage. They waste a few seconds of it. Good snowball hurdle. That's not to say it's over. They're picking up some powerful neutral items. I think they just obtained a Cloak of Flames.
That's bad.
No, that was
Very
the
bad.
dire. Okay, so no such item for Elite, but the Elven Skin Cloak wouldn't even be a bad idea for this core IO if he wants it. But now he's going to hold on to the Nether Shore, that bonus magic damage a priority, and this is going to be the first big
shit,
fight
I'm fucking
with that
dead.
level 20 Wisp.
Oh,
Yarok
boy.
coming in there. Maybe Kage-S could have warned off his puck. They're trying to get him out right now.
It's got
Yarok
tricks to
realizes
cloak, I
that
guess.
this is not the fight you want to
Buy
take.
back here.
Elite, no, Yarok doesn't really realize that. Hangs around, eats another couple of spiritual
What the
trouble.
fuck?
And you see how quick that damage bursts down.
Apparently
Like,
I
he's
targeted that
the
on a
plate. They
creep,
bring in
not
Volkor.
a
Volkor
tower.
posts the BKB very early. They
think
waste
that's
a few
game,
seconds
boys.
of it. Good
I do
snowball
not
from
have
Towers going to
buyback.
buy the IO time. And PA goes after the Tusk instead. So now her BKB is gone. It's going to make it a lot harder to isolate and kill Elite's IO. They're actually trying to bail out of this fight with the Underlord right now. They've lost the puck. They actually lose the... No, wait, the Underlord does get out. That was a close run thing.
holding
But
out,
they've
holding
left
out.
behind Volkor on the PA. They don't get their Phantom Assassin out. I'm not sure if that was intentional or mistake. Oh, that's a crit! That is such a crit! I really was... The Underlord does get out. That was a close run thing. But they've left behind Volkor on the PA. They don't get their Phantom Assassin out. I'm not sure if that was intentional or mistake. Oh, that's a crit! That is such a crit! I really was about to pronounce the PA dead there. But, this is a battle of steady DPS from the Iroist. Like, out. I'm not sure if that... with the Underlord right now. They've lost the puck. They actually lose the... No, wait, the Underlord does get out. That was a close run thing. But they've left behind Volkor on the PA. They don't get their Phantom Assassin out. I'm not sure if that was intentional or mistake. Oh, that's a crit! That is such a crit! I really was about to pronounce the PA dead there. But, this is a battle of steady DPS from the Iroist against insane procs of burst from the PA, and the crit gods come through. I think that was about 1400 damage, just evaporating the arrow from the map, and with that critical neutral item pickup, the
Lorax.
Paladin Sword, the PA has lifesteal. Skip the lifesteal talent, as is common for the Phantom Strike cast range, and so I thought without the BKB, Volkor might have trouble racing the damage output of the
That was a big fight.
But with this critical neutral item pickup, this
No,
really
melt
is just
towers.
a tour de force of RNG for Volkor. With the right neutral item roll and the
Kid
right
Leshrac
crit
needs
roll,
mana.
PA can do anything. And bad, he has picked
No
up the Elven
mana.
2.5 to nothing if to contest.
If I can ever not be stunned, my god. This is like a double, triple cast.
Really interesting. Oh, actually, no, sorry, what am I talking about?
dude,
This is a
fuck
Vanguard to
Argon.
complete the Abyssal Blade.
If you got it.
I'm losing my mind over
okay.
here. Hard's been
Hopefully
such a
this
powerful
guy
item
shit.
this patch, and I think that it wouldn't even be unjustified against the IO, but Volkor just sticking with the tried and true. The ability to lock down the IO guaranteed, or the DP and burst them is going to be very, very valuable, of course. and now the Roshan, it's actually Looney Melb's turn to be punished by a slow Roshan spawn. The Radiant thought they were already in the pit, so they run in to fight and realize that it's not actually up there, just going to scrap. Now the Roshan spawns. It might be even pulled out of pit by the Io spirits, but it's not going to contribute to the fight. This is all happening right outside
I want
the
the
pit,
X Smash
and
now, actually.
huge apocalyptic spell effects going on.
I have
Target S goes
7
down, Tau goes down,
activatable
High Ground
items.
goes down, and now Elite was staying troll initially,
that means
but
I can
Vorpal was
reset
not in that mess
Dragon
of
form.
spells. Easily
No, it doesn't.
That's
It
not how it
does
works.
items
Just going to
only.
scrap. Now the Roshan spawns.
I have like a
It might be even pulled out
gazillion
of
that's
pit
fair,
by the
that's
Io
fair.
spirits,
Sorry, I just
but it's
thought
not
it
going to contribute to the
refreshed.
fight. This is all happening right outside the pit, and
I haven't
huge
come across it that
apocalyptic
much
spell
in my
effects going off.
travels.
Kage
Also,
S
the
goes down,
armor is
Tau goes
super
down,
nice.
High Ground goes down, and
so I
now
don't have a
Elite
lot.
was staying troll initially, but Vorpal was not in that
Apex.
mess of spells. Easily stepping
That's
around
good
it with
on
the
Bristle, yeah.
effects going off.
Give
Kage
me
S
Mirror Shield, I
other
think.
Roshan spawns.
Definitely,
It might
yeah.
be even pulled out of pit by the Io spirits, but it's not going to contribute
He's
to the
already got
fight. This is
Lotus,
all happening
so-
right outside the pit, and huge apocalyptic
take
spell effects
Apex
going off. Kage S goes down, Tau goes down, High Ground goes down, and now Elite, who's staying troll initially, but Vorpal was not in
I'm
that
the
mess of spells.
professional void
Easily
spirit
stepping
killer.
around it with the power of the PA, and in the end,
Is that
all of
DK
the
by
deaths are
himself?
on the side of the Radiant. The Battle Fury on this
That's
PA
sniper item.
multiplies
We could
the
catch him
damage
out
that
here.
so many times when you fight in that enclosed space. That's why the supports vanish so quickly off
Take
the
the
map.
ballista.
And
There you are.
Rubik has even stolen the exorcism. I've never seen this. The
You got
flock
Hurricane
of
Pack?
Rubik's
Yeah, nice.
cubes going off right now is a little bit of an indictment on Frankie's play. You really
Oh, I
should
do
not
have
be having
30.
that spell stolen, but sometimes you don't get the chance. Maybe you're bashed as the exorcism goes off. I think it was maybe just a
Smoke up.
single-minded dash towards the pit,
I
and
feel
the
like we're
Rubik
strong,
waiting
yeah.
in the wings was able to pick up that exorcism and really turn the
just
fight
got
around. So
that.
huge plays again by Bog's
Can I get
Finance,
their stuff?
justifying that Rubik pick, finding the spells to steal, even if they're not the common ones. And, you know, I've been casting this as a game in the balance for a long time, but suddenly, as we watch the Dire rolling over the Braxes, it almost feels like even without the two other lanes of Brax already in their pockets,
Dude, I get
they would be
double
poised to take this
Bloodstone heal.
game. You look at the
That's actually
itemization, really
Yeah.
all coming true right now. This is a team-wide
Damn.
timing.
I was
They've
clicking,
coordinated
dude. I didn't
very
know
well.
he was gonna
She's
smoke.
pipe
I did
raised
it
up
like
on
three
Ducklinger is
times, dude, to be
indestructible
fair.
and makes his team
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much indestructible
Got
as
him.
well. PA we've talked about a lot.
Why is he
Yarok has
E-bladed?
finished an Eye of Scarring,
I
which is an interesting
E-bladed him.
choice. But with the phase shift attack, it's just even
He's
more
dead
BKB
anyway.
control. None of that's necessary though, because
Hit that, hit
armed
that.
with the Battle Fury PA timing and a little bit of an unfortunate
If I didn't
series
miss
of
every
deaths,
fucking
I
time.
can't
Core
film
IO.
misses, Jesus.
all of that effort, all of that the creative drafting from QUT Esports, the refugee esports lineup, it comes to naught. It's a 2-0 win to Looney Mel.
Yeah,
They
so
take it
fucked up,
out.
yeah.
Really, really impressive stuff overall.
But,
Acting of credit to the whole
yeah,
team,
you'll be
but
fine.
especially
Got the disarm.
to Vorpal. That is some of the most assured carry play I have ever seen in the Australian Esports University League in this or any season. I'm
Big.
excited to see Looney Mel continue to perform throughout the season. There is room to improve. Yarok on the puck did
I
not
can't go
cost
up
his
there.
team the victory by any means, but
That's fine, you
step-
don't.
you
Yeah.
know, if you're going to step up, and
Georgian
help
Halvin, Venom
it would
Answer.
help
Yes.
to not allow the enemy mid laner, you know, the chance to
I'll
outscale your
wait
core
in the
when
back
you're relying on
lines.
Vorpal so much. Duck Flinger, hard to fault
we
the
got
gameplay
plenty of
really.
tower
I was
damage.
questioning of the picks, but both of those were made to work. Bogged Finance. Hard to fault the gameplay really. To not allow the enemy mid laner, you know, the chance to outscale your core when you're relying on Vorpal so much.
I love
Duck
you, brother.
Flinger,
You nearly
hard to
killed me
fault
on
the
that
gameplay,
last
really.
part,
I was
though,
questioning of the
honestly.
picks, but both of those were made to work. Bogged Finance, terrific stuff on the Rubik. Seems like a real comfort here of him. And KGS, great aggressive play both games. So
I'm
an
A-clicking,
almost
dude.
complete unit out of
I
Looney Mel.
said,
I'm sure they'll be
let's smoke
contending
3
late
times
into
and
the
I
season.
pinged
We'll have
the
plenty more
smoke in
chances.
me.
You could have waited till
And
you
refugee
What do you
esports,
want
they
from
did
me?
have to play game 1 with a
I'm
standing
not
ovation.
waiting
yes,
for
it was-
some
So don't count them by any
dumbass
means.
fucking
It's going to be a long
support
season
sniper
here
I
at
know.
the
finishing
Australian
hitting
Esports
ancients.
University League.
Holy
Shout
shit,
out to Chart Time
36
and all our
was
other
it?
sponsors for
Oh my
making
God.
that season
Need me.
possible. And
No,
I will no doubt be
smoked.
back
I'm that
next
far-
week or in the weeks
I'm
to
that
come,
far back,
bringing
they
more
don't
of this
see me
exciting
anyway.
Dota 2 action. But for
Brain so far back.
now, I've been the wandering
Non-existent.
bard. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Again, you're welcome.
Oh god.
This fucking sniper player, dude. Oh, and he was rich.
Must be done for a little bit.
Meh.
Holy shit, you were rich.
Yeah.
Meh.
Uh oh.
Why?
Vorpal's turning.
Why am I doing this?
Hmm?
Right, so you just shut the door.
Oh,
video, I'm going to talk about how to stitch video files together.
Oh, that was a good game.
Oh,
Lesh
it's
felt
retarded.
really strong that
Simple
game.
No
task,
argument
but
there.
often in order to complete it, you
Said
need
I'm
video
retarded,
editing
no argument
software, load
Holy
the
shit, your
clips,
hero
adjust
damaged
them,
him.
then, export
Yeah,
them.
it's strong.
This
Dude.
takes time and
AoE
often can
and just
result in
pumping
a
out these
loss
stuns.
of quality
Also,
because you need
that
to re-encode the clips.
let me
Now
breakdowns.
with this
How much
program
damage I
called
do
Format
with
Factory over here,
Quiver?
we
It
can
don't tell me.
do it
Oh my
without
god, I must have done
the
so
need
much
to
there.
re-encode the videos. We just can
My
stitch them
damage output
together
was very weak.
keep here this and
But who's surprised, honestly?
I mean, that's fine. You're a Dragon Knight. You're in there for the slow and the stun and the tank. You did your job. I mean, look at damage taken. Like, you received the 130k. Like,
Yeah. I was out of position so much. I took most of the damage. Yeah.
the Lesh actually felt really strong there once I got going.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was very, it's very skill based. Like, in fights,
Okay.
like, even, no, I don't mean like being
Alright,
good. I
everybody,
mean like,
welcome back to another
there's no
night
passive
here
component
of
to your damage,
the
really,
Uni League at
because
Dota, here
standing
from,
in the middle of people to
AEL
get your pass
University
over off
League
is not,
Esports.
like,
It's
you can't
a great,
just do that.
evening to be back in the saddle.
So you have to be timing every spell, but it's quite strong. Like, I was thinking I'd feel like weak late game, but it was fine.
I think your Aghanim shard was real fucking nice, to be honest.
Yeah, the Aghanim Scepter. The
Oh,
AoE disarm.
Is it the Scepter? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Scepter.
It actually felt hella strong that game. Like hella strong. I don't think we would have done as well without it. May have lost. Honestly, items like that make Troll Warlord so fucking sad, dude.
What
What did he
items?
build?
All he wants to do
Oh,
is go in.
Jesus.
The Leshrax Aghanims
Ah, yeah.
with the disarm.
The
Who's
AoE
playing? Who's
good
playing
set.
Shore right now?
Oh, no one was. It was
The
someone on
opposite
other
team. Molotov.
Just be
Just
careful though.
fucking
If he gets an
crushed him.
Ags, he can completely counter you.
No, he can't because
It's an ongoing effect.
it's a
Can't be
passive
dispelled.
aura around me.
Oh shit! I thought you could dispel it.
No.
You can't
Wow, that
dispel
changes
passive
everything.
auras. God, you're crap at this game.
It's a 4-second aura from you.
Wow.
Disarms yourself and everyone around you. And I highly
That's-
doubt it would be dispellable.
That's extraordinarily strong.
No, because it's just gonna reapply.
No, I mean like that you can't dispel it off Lesh.
Oh, right.
It would be a bit dumb if you could.
If anyone could, maybe Shadow Demon, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not dispellable by anything.
Not even a strong dispel. Fair enough. Guess it keeps applying to you as well.
Dude, it's actually a very nice item.
What is?
The Ags. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't get a
Pretty
chance,
good.
give myself a chance to read it during that game, but it's fucking
The nihilism, right?
very interesting. Yeah.
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 Nihilism.
It's a very good item.
And it makes you disarmed as it makes you ethereal as well. So even if someone BKBs, they still can't attack you because you're ethereal as
So
well.
it's really good. It's really good against people that do straight physical damage. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I wonder how it would fare though against. I'm guessing it would not be as good against people with hybrid damage.
No, I mean it doesn't increase your damage taken. It's not like Ghost Shroud where it makes you take more magic damage. So
Oh really?
no,
That's pretty
it doesn't give you any increase whatsoever. All it does
It's kind of
is
bullshit.
it does 30% more magic damage to everyone else, and makes everyone, including yourself, unattackable and unable to attack.
So you'd have to BKB in order to.
Yeah, but even if you BKB, you still can't hit the Lesh because the Lesh is also
Yeah,
Ghost Scepted.
I get that.
The one really annoying part about it is that it makes it so that Diabolic Edict doesn't do any damage to them. Because Diabolic Edict is physical. But I guess if it didn't do that, it would be completely busted.
Busted. Yeah. I dare say it would be. Just sit on top of people and just...
Especially that game when I had the Yules and I could Yules into Nihilism. It was like, yeah, there was no way to really counter it except for hard stuns. Because the troll had to commit.
Yeah, I hate playing Troll Warlord against heroes like that, dude. They just like lock you down.
And it's like the Necro principle as well. You build an E-Blade Ghost Scepter and you get your ability and you basically have like 8 seconds of disarm.
Speaking of the troll, just now I played a game on troll, and then the next game they instantly banned it.
Lol. Yeah, I saw that you crushed that game with the Ags
Yeah.
Battle Fury.
Yeah, that one. They banned the troll like straight up in the second game.
That's fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Because he's comfortable in the hero and he did well. Like,
You're pretty garbage, man.
it's what Nigma didn't do in TI9 and they lost bad.
Yep. Didn't ban the IO, lose the IO. Surprise Pikachu face.
Yep.
Miracle, but like, just don't ban the IO and then we end fast. Like a minute lose game.
Maybe we were all spectating that game, so like we were watching that grand final at
Oh,
my
yeah?
place.
Yeah.
We were all just sitting there in the draft, literally all just going, ban the IO, ban the IO, ban the IO, just 10 people yelling at the TV.
Wow.
And then they don't ban it, we're like, oh, they lost.
Like you guys all like knew about the IO run that OG had, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's very fucking unfortunate.
Yeah, I think I want to play more Lash. That felt good.
That's weird. I want you to pay less, Lash. That's fine.
If only that lane wasn't so completely dog shit.
I think you should keep it middle, but
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's because Leshrac is not a safe lane hero. That's probably why
Yeah.
it felt so garbage.
I don't know, like I felt like he's a hero that's got high base movement speed and kind of relies on that early game, but they had very slow, ogre slow. So it was basically they chucked those on me and I can't do anything.
perfect middle. So you've got high middle.
Yeah. I find you get out CS too easily mid because you got like 50 damage with a full inventory at level 1, which is stupid.
Do you have any experience in video editing, by the way, Hunter?
God no.
Or like just knowing the basics of how that works?
Nope.
I do, but I'm not gonna help you.
I've never edited a video in my entire life.
Okay, well, I'm not asking about that.
Part of
Hey Ed,
part of my design course was to
you know how
to be
you know how like if you
confident
use a
in
video
being able
editing
to
software
video.
and every time you like render a video / save it, it like renders the whole thing.
It's too late, bro. You already asked Hunter.
No, I just want to ask you a question. Is there a way to append videos without rendering? So like you just append them and you save them because you already have the original files. You're just adding them together.
Is there a way to save videos without rendering them? Is that what you asked?
No, to add them
And to append it.
to append them. Yes, so to add them after one after the other
I don't know.
without
Nah.
like
Google
rendering.
do video codecs support
Which
appending.
software are you using?
Well, I used to use Vegas Pro, but because I'm in my new computer, I don't have anymore.
I think you can do it on Adobe. I think you
That
can do it
looks
on
like
Adobe,
it.
but I don't know if you can do it on Vegas.
Yeah, because Vegas forces you
Is
to
it-
render the whole thing.
A lot of the programs do, and you have to turn it off. But I believe it's a setting that you can turn off. Because we had a similar problem where we needed only like a partial. We wanted to delete some footage, but we needed to render it first or something like that. Yeah, I think it's like a select option. You go like select and then like render selected or something. That's how we did it. But that was not the same software. I haven't used the software you're using, I'm sorry.
Kitties.
What do you say?
Kitties.
Titties.
Yeah. That's literally Laval said kitties and I said titties. Which is
Titties.
literally exactly what you just said.
God, this kitten is such an absolute just.
Cunt.
No, he's just has absolutely boundless energy. He literally just stood in the office doorway, like trying to leap up the door frame from a standstill. There's nothing up the door. He just wants to jump up the fucking
I thought
door
he saw
frame.
a fly, but I'm not sure if he's seen anything. I think he might be retarded.
That almost plays fetch as well. Hey, this is the one you like. Ready? Good job. Ready? I'm gonna put you in a box. Ready?
You're an asshole.
Just gonna get this box and then just. Oh no, he didn't sit still. Ready?
Wow, a
Ready?
cat not sitting still.
Ready? Oh, go on. God, I had to wipe his bum the other day. He had like diarrhea. Keely was just like, Hunter, yep, and she held him. And I got the TP and I wiped his bum. Like a baby.
Morph shuffling your stat. Yours. These gamers are red.
What happened?
Yeah.
He just like sat behind me, just let out like a squeak, and then just sprinted at the door frame.
Oh, I fucking farted and it's like, I'm out of here, bruh. Fucking animals do that, man. Holy shit. I fucking heard that squeak actually just now. Well, so that was the sound.
berserk.
Mad lad. What a fucking mad lad, dude.
He'll like jump up and do like a backflip mid-air to grab things. It's ridiculous.
Fucking mad lad. Has he scratched you before?
Oh, not intentional.
Ah. Like
He's
what happened?
actually really good like that. He'll attack your feet sometimes if he's bored. He's
So?
under your desk. He'll just start like gently biting and gently clawing your feet, but not like scratching you. It's like poking you basically. Guess it does this really cute thing where if you lie down and he like lies down next to you and you like stick your hand out or your arm out, he'll actually like hug your arm,
Oh.
like put one paw either side and just like nuzzle it.
Well, you heard that. Oh wait, no, I have noise suppression on. Oops, I accidentally left. I'm gonna turn off noise suppression so you guys can hear me fucking fart again.
There, you're gonna turn off noise suppression so we can hear you farting.
Yep.
Nice.
It's a classic vocal.
Oh yeah.
Can't go wrong.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
Had a lot of twists and turns.
They had
Top it
so
off, Bob,
much
he prior to
slow,
the blink dagger, so
but so little
we have
catch as
a little
well.
bit of help
It's like
back so you know that he'll
both teams had
survive the
a lot of
silence,
catch,
turn around with the shadow down.
but a lot of
They,
like sustained damage.
Mostly just a scout.
Which is cool. It's unique.
Yeah.
You don't often get that. Like, if you think about it, actually, there wasn't a single high mobility hero that entire game. except for maybe Phoenix.
You were
If you
pretty high
count that.
mobility.
No,
You don't
I mean
need
high
to
movement
speed.
speed, but movement speed's nothing
Cuddles.
compared to like blinks. That's not. That's also
Cuddle.
not.
Look at that cuddle, mate. Fucking
That's not.
bro.
That's not
When you were there,
mobility.
when Coddle had fucking Quicksilver amulet and he was running at like fucking 600 ms. That was nuts, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, why is this man so fast?
Really following its traditional. Just run away.
Are we going again, nigga?
Yeah, maybe one more and then bed.
Right, sounds good.
I had a little snooze this afternoon, but I don't think that's gonna fully sustain me.
Your life, Amy.
Money or your life.
I don't want your gold. I want your life.
That was. Oh. I fucking hate grocery store checkouts asking me to donate $20 to end world hunger. You're a $10 billion corporation. I'm using a coupon to get 50 cents off a bag of potatoes. Why don't you donate $20 to end child hunger?
It's almost like the cat's just doing like vertical jump training. Like he's just he's going to the gym.
Refresh rate. Oracle. As we have even to have your, and all of that combined with some significant that it's essential to kill him. You managed to catch him there. So whoever, as the relocated QT squad, just all of a sudden leapt up from being well behind the Radiant, better to already in the pit, so they run in to fight, and 8 times the flock of Rubik's cubes going off right now.
You know, I was thinking about this today. I wish Ben did casting. I think that would be really fun.
Casting for what?
Just casting for Dota.
Yeah, you could try and cast for the tournament games they are playing.
Or maybe not casting, maybe an analyst. I don't know.
Will he have the time for that then?
Like, I think he would make a good... You know how there's usually a caster that's like... That sounds like the horse race
Hey, in this video,
guy, and then there's the other one that's like more talking about each individual play.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben would do better at the latter.
Mm-hmm.
Like saying stuff like, "Oh, I really like this pick here. I think it works well with their lineup." Shit like that. I think he'd be good at that. You know what you'd be good at, Rick?
Dying.
Shut up. Not speaking. Keeping your mouth shut. I'll be in my room making no noise and pretending that I
Hi.
Imagine how annoyed your ancestors would be or call you enjoying anime in Japanese culture.
What's wrong with that?
Hmm?
What's wrong with that?
Well, you got Chinese ancestors.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed that you knew this or not, but the Chinese and the Japanese don't exactly see eye to eye on things. Oh no. What the fuck am I looking at, dude?
Come offline with me, dude,
Jug.
please.
Yeah. What do we need? We've got late game AoE shit. Let's go like a passive aura shit.
First game, picks anti-mage.
Let's just run them down.
Okay. This ought to be good.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's that good.
This is his first game.
He says. But you know what that means.
Yeah.
Smurf. Who fucking... Who first game picks anti-mage? I will abandon though. Pulse 5 Marauder. Can I get a little...
Our team's fucking retarded, dude.
Yeah. I love drafting. I love first picking and then just watching my draft go to shit from
Wonder if
there
it'll
on.
be Ethereal Blade. jug.
E-blade jug. Yikes.
I've said it done well. But...
Yeah. So like a patch ago, it was great, but then the change they made was that it made it that you could attack during spin, and that kind of makes it that the 30% magic damage isn't worth the loss of attack.
Yeah.
It's just not that good anymore. Like it's still decent, but it's good. Better option. The Radiance build is still super strong.
What are we versing top?
Okay, Ursa Tusk or Ursa Venom. Maybe Ursa DP.
If
I
it's
doubt it.
task, I don't mind. I don't mind hitting him up a bit, but if it's Venom,
Yeah,
I don't really want to.
If it's Tusk, be careful. I think it's better if it's Venom.
I don't mind hitting that. Nice, Rick.
Is he? I got no mana. It
Sucks, dude.
doesn't have Bash when you haven't got Bash leveled up.
I know it doesn't. I just thought it would still be enough.
Oh no.
Vorka said tenor.com.
Why is she so far? There's no way she catches that. Dude, why does she run at 400 million miles per second? What the fuck? Can't help you.
This lane fucking sucks, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
Pulling. Rift of the Wolves of Ice Track, dude. Oh, what fucking range they suddenly don't have?
I'm going to show you how I can split, cut and rejoin some video without needing to re-encode it using two freeware tools. So the first tool is AVIDEMUX, and you can get that from this address here. I'll put that link in the video description. And the Windows
Satisfaction. Why is that not pulling?
There's already creeps there. Pull this dick. Steam.
He's dead.
He did.
Lamau.
Oh my god, we actually got it. Holy shit.
This hero's
I had a tip, I gave it to
disgusting.
him.
Also, the
Yeah.
Alright, there's bot. I got the fucking oracle, guys.
I'm
very
very
far.
Tip you.
very far.
Okay, but get back.
Oh
This is what I mean, guys. We need to play really.
if they want to fight, I think we can still fight this.
But it's just nightly for.
Okay, just push.
Got
Just
him.
push. Don't make me use buyback here. Just push.
Oh Jesus.
Oh shit, can we take this?
Because
It's fine.
wait. I can crawl.
Run towards me so I can take this.
Oh, thanks. Oh, boss.
Oh wait.
I got the IO in the back.
I was letting you out.
I'm here. Can you let me blink to you? Oh okay.
I'm taping back in.
Oh, the crits, dude! No way! No way, the crits! Dude. The fucking crits! Holy shit! This hero's disgusting, man.
Ah, yes, I made that call just before noise curfew. PogChamp.
Holy fuck, this hero's disgusting.
Oh my god, we actually got it. Holy shit.
This hero's disgusting. Also, the paladin saved my life, Jesus.
That's all their ults down. No one leave, okay? We fucking.
I don't have any mana. Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, Rick, you'd have more mana if you didn't freeze the creeps.
Yeah, but I'm farming.
I know.
Honestly, I think they need to change Lesh's X shard a bit. Like the extra split earth 5 seconds later. Bit dumb.
Bit weird, isn't it?
The really dumb part is that the enemy team can see the AoE indicator as well. So it's like the enemy team gets a visible 5-second warning that there's going to be a stun there. Like the very least they should take away the visual indicator for enemies.
Sorry. Oh my god, I thought I might have been able to live there one hit. I wouldn't have lived the next one though. Ooh, this guy's good.
Fucking
This
hell.
guy's not good.
Fucking hell. Oh. Yeah, I know. Fury twice does. Thank you, Rick.
Life, Jesus.
That's all their ults down. No one leave, okay? We fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Another
definitely the
lost
way.
bottom
Yeah,
tower.
holy shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Alright. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That
How
was
do
fucking
I...
joking around, dude. First game.
Let's get a. Have you got any wards up? Put a ward here, and when DP goes to push and shit, we'll go kill her.